you ever seen a movie in which the hero is being sprayed by hails of bullets from the bad guys? Or in this case, maybe not the bad guys, but anyway. And he survives and you're thinking, how the hell did that happen? This movie is kind enough, maybe one of very few to do so, to actually give us a full-on explanation to how this works. Granted, it's a pretty dumb explanation, but it is an explanation anyway. If you have never seen this movie, and chances is, it's probably a good chance you haven't, we're gonna talk today about one of the small little secrets of early 2000s. This is Equilibrium. Why does war and conflict start? Chances is it has to do with emotions. How does emotion start? By feeling stuff. And feelings and emotions are triggered by art. And not just good art, bad art too. So in the future, emotions have been outlawed. And they do have a drug that reduces the emotions, not turning you into a complete zombie and not turning you into somebody from an M. Night Shyamalan movie, but rather taking out the highs and taking out the lows and making you a little bit more mellow. And they also have a task force, the clerics, who goes around and try to find people who are hiding art and destroys it. It's a bit like Fahrenheit 451. I haven't read that novel and I haven't seen the movie adaptations that has been made. But even though this movie very heavily borrows from the idea, it still retains its very own identity in my opinion. I do know what the movie Fahrenheit 451 is about, so I know what I'm talking about, I think. In the beginning we follow two clerics, played by Sean Bean and Christian Bale. And spoiler alert, I don't think Sean Bean is gonna survive this movie either. They are, going out there and they're trying to find art and they're trying to, keep the society going. But Sean Bean has, let's just say Sean Bean might be off his meds. And soon, also Preston, Christian Bale by the way, is also off the meds and he starts to having emotions and he slowly is starting to realize why emotions are important. But the problem is he's a cleric, he's the most valued cleric. And is this society going to accept him having emotions? I think not. And so what's going to happen to him? Is he going to be an asset to the rebels, or is he going to be brainwashed by this awful society? In a nutshell, you could say that this movie is a combination of The Matrix and 1984 with a lot of Fahrenheit 451 thrown in for good measures. But I don't really care about they have nicked stuff from other things, because this movie is great. It is absolutely amazing. There are a few small little things here and there I would have changed, and there are these small things that could have been done even better. And also the budget is a little bit too restrained, because some of the 3D effects that we're getting does look a bit horrible. We're talking, when I saw it in 2002, I thought it looked horrible. This society is just so fascinating. We're getting these small little glimpses into it. And despite this movie being maybe a little too short for its own good, we're getting enough information and we're getting enough small little bits that this society can actually function, unless you start questioning too much. Well, if that happens, then this shouldn't work at all. Granted, if you're gonna look for reasons for why this society couldn't work, it isn't gonna be difficult because you will find it. But I just love the design of everything, how sleek everything is, because everything is designed not to cause emotions. Therefore, every design bit is supposed to be as sanitized, homogenized, and standardized as it possibly can be. It doesn't make the world look ugly, it doesn't make it look beautiful, it just makes it look functional. And I love that small little aspect of it all. Bale is great, and despite Preston being a bit of a dick, you're slowly, getting on his side. Especially when he saves a puppy from being murdered. Oh yeah, let's talk about the puppy sequence for a second. Even though they kill these puppies off screen, you still hear, the yelping and the when they're shooting them, and you see on Christian Bale's face how disheartening this is. Damn it, I almost started crying that you don't kill puppies in a movie. I still think they have never killed a puppy in a movie. I haven't seen, at least. They killed a bunny in Doomsday. That was fun. But John Preston really starts to question the choices he makes and the society he lives in when they capture Emily Watson and her incredibly large eyes. Is there an actress in the entire world with larger eyes than Emily Watson? You could drown in those things, man. When she enters the plot, the movie gets actually more exciting and gets more tense because you're getting more of this double life that John Preston is living. I think that this is where the movie is at maybe its peak. The ending is great. It's a lot of shooting out and sword fighting, and Christian Bale gets to show off his awesomeness both as an actor and as a physical performer. However, now this is where my other little butt is located in this movie, because I think, and I don't think I have ever used this turn in any movie, but I think this movie contains too much action. Now, I love action movies, I have always loved action movies, and I've always said, more action in this movie, more action in this movie, more explosions. But in this case, I think this movie would have benefited from being more of a slow burner. I think this movie would have benefited from being a longer movie and more psychological. Shooting people is fun, don't forget what industry we're talking about here, but it gets a little repetitive and they didn't have enough money to do great variations of it. There is just a lot of faceless guys being mowed down and in corridors and stuff like that. Even though this is relatively well made, it doesn't excuse the fact that it could have been so much better if this would have been a slow moving psychological deterioration rather than beating somebody in the head with a blunt instrument. But that's what they do, and it is entertaining anyway. Equilibrium is one of these well-hidden gems that were horribly marketed, which made the movie bomb, and it has, however, retained some kind of cult followings ever since, and I'm really glad that I saw it, even though I think it deserved so much better. Great actors, great visuals, an incredibly detailed and subtle world that doesn't, hit you over the head with what it wants to tell. If you've never seen this one and you like, sci-fi action movies and you like sci-fi thrillers and you like thought-provoking things like this, I think this is right up your alley. Just be aware of that you can see the budget limitations in some cases, and the special effects look a little crap, even by 2002 standards. But apart from that, you're gonna be all on Bale's side, and you're gonna be pretty pumped up by the end. You should also mention the absolutely great actors in this one. Christian Bale is great, Sean Bean is great, as he always is. Emily Watson is fantastic. Taye Diggs, his new partner, he was okay, but he was one of the least memorable of the very colorful cast they have, despite, them being all on the meds and the stuff. But every movie needs more William Fichtner, and this at least has a lot more than most William Fichtner movies has of William Fichtner. This movie gets 88 points. It's not perfect, but it is very entertaining. It has a great story, it has great characters, it's great production design, it is great suspense, and it takes itself totally serious but not too serious. This is still entertaining. So here we are, somewhere in the underbelly of the region of Marche in Italy, which probably is pronounced totally different, but there's my hotel, by the way, and this is my second to last hotel based review on this thing, because I only have one place to go before we go home. But I'll see you next time from, well, so-and-so reviewing, well, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.